Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Allison and today I'm sharing with you a new 12x12 scrapbook layout. I had this layout designed before I started my Traveler's Notebook album in the last couple of days, and in my creating, because I'm chronological, this was the next natural layout to create. So here I have a 12x12 scrapbook layout. After I designed this layout in Cricut Design Space, I decided to switch gears. It was sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was done stressing over it and getting frustrated because nothing was driving, and so was either going to pack my room up and walk away for the time being or try something different. And I decided to go with the try something different route. Anyways, back to the layout at hand. I began by spraying some mixed media into the background. So I used Kitsch Flamingo spray ink by Tim Holtz. Sprayed that on the white cardstock. I also trimmed the white cardstock base down to 11 3/4 by 11 3/4. That is going to be matted to a sheet of 12x12 red cardstock later on in the video. Over top of the white mixed media base, I cut and assembled 3 square frames, scalloped frames, and the photos, which there's only 2 of them, are going to be layered over top of them. You can see them in the top left of the screen right now. Right now I'm just working on adhering and assembling the flowers that I'm going to use to decorate my layout. These are some of my absolute favorite flowers from Cricut Design Space. They are not an image that I created myself. They are a pre-made image that is available in Cricut. It cuts in multiple layers, and the only way I manipulated it was sizing it and then choosing what colors I wanted as well. So the last part of the flower to be put onto this whole assembly is the flower center. I'm just adhering that right now, and there is the completed flower. There's like 4 layers to it, so it adds a lot of bulk on its own. I do decide to add these flowers to the layout base with foam squares, so I'm just adding those right now. I knew that I wanted to add them with foam squares because the photos are going to be adhered underneath these flower clusters. I should have maybe adhered the pictures first. That way I didn't have to fuss with the flowers that were already adhered to the layout and pull them up. Hindsight's 2020. It's all good. In the end, it was just a minor little inconvenience. The pictures I printed at 2.5 by 2.5 inches, which is outside of my norm recently. I've been sticking with like 2 by 2 inches and the odd 3 by 3 lately. I like to play with all size photos, but I usually stick with sizes that are smaller than 4 by 6. Having said that though, I do have a Traveler's Notebook spread coming up that uses a 4 by 6 sized photo. So stick around for that because that's coming soon. So the photos are adhered now to the layout. I did pop them up with some craft foam. I find that the height of the craft foam is less than my foam squares, which are recollections and come from Michael's. So I like the difference in height. So you can still see that there's a bit of height underneath the photos, but they're not as high as the florals, which works perfectly. Next is my title. That was die cut as well. I cut it from red cardstock. I glued it with a mixture of foam squares that I trimmed into halves and liquid glue as well, just so that it clears the high points on the layout. The main bulk of my layout is done, so I'm adhering my layout base to the red cardstock that I had mentioned just a few minutes ago. And the next thing that I want to do is add some journaling. So I'm going to take my straight edge ruler and a pencil and mark out all the lines. I ended up having to add more lines in the end because I didn't have enough. That's why I like doing that with pencil. Not that it really matters. but I like to keep my lines straight, so that's why I use a ruler and a pencil, just so that the words are straight across the page. I cannot do anything straight for the life of me. I go cross-eyed. I don't know what happens, but I just can't do anything straight. So I help myself by using a straight edge ruler. And then I either erase the lines after I'm done my journaling, or I leave them where they are and just use my pen to trace over those lines. In this case, I decided to erase the pencil lines because I didn't want lines underneath my journaling in the end. I thought it would make the layout feel too heavy with so much black, and I didn't want to overwhelm it because I think it was busy enough to begin with. So skip the lines. And here I decided to throw in some additional embellishments. I just added a chipboard sticker from an LE Studio chipboard sticker pack that I have in my stash. And this pink heart that I'm moving around right now is actually an Ellie Edwards chipboard heart from the Heart scrapbooking collection that I subscribed to through her website. That was last quarter's subscription. This quarter's subscription, oh, I tripped over that one, is circles. So, but the colors worked really well with my color scheme in this layout. I'm going to have to remember this one because I think it's so pretty and so feminine and just totally right up my alley. I'm adding the date, and with that, this layout is complete. I do have lots of still shots coming up, so stick around for that. And I hope you enjoyed my layout today. If you did, give it a thumbs up and a like. Leave a comment down below if you feel inclined to. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here and that you're joining me on this journey. If you are new and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing that. All of my projects are Cricut designed and Cricut created, and if that interests you, you'll find lots of Cricut content here. I'll be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Bye, friends.